Kai walked along the jagged cliffs of Arinder, a human-colonized planet at the edge of explored space. The wind howled around him, carrying fine dust that stung his skin. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows over the rocky terrain. He had always been drawn to the outskirts, to places untouched by human settlements, where strange ruins hinted at stories long forgotten. Today, he hoped to find pieces of ancient technology hidden among the stones, something that might help the colony improve life on this harsh world. His boots crunched against the gravel as he rounded a small ridge. At first, he saw nothing unusual. Then, a flash of movement caught his eye. A figure stood at the edge of a cliff ahead, poised as if ready for battle. She wore a suit of layered armor unlike anything Kai had ever seen. A sword gleamed in her hands, reflecting the dying sunlight. Her posture was tense, and her eyes were fixed on him with sharp intensity. Kai froze for a moment, unsure how to react. He raised his hand slowly, signaling that he meant no harm. "I'm not your enemy," he called out, his voice steady despite the rising fear in his chest. The woman's eyes narrowed, but she did not lower her sword. Kai noticed something strange. She was staring at his forearm with sudden hesitation. He looked down and followed her gaze. That was when he realized she had stopped moving altogether. Her grip on the sword faltered slightly, and her eyes widened. "What is it?" he asked, curiosity overtaking caution. He had seen many symbols and marks from previous explorations, but the one on his arm was new. A faint, glowing pattern wrapped around his skin, almost like a circuit of energy, pulsing gently with a rhythm that seemed to match his heartbeat. He had not noticed it before today, and he did not know where it had come from. The woman took a step back, her sword lowering slowly, almost involuntarily. Her lips parted, but no sound came. Kai took a deep breath, trying to ease the tension. "Do you know what that is?" he asked, pointing to the mark. She shook her head slightly but did not take her eyes off him. There was fear in her gaze, but also recognition, as if the mark told her a story she had been waiting to hear for years. The wind picked up, whipping dust and small stones around them. Kai shaded his eyes, studying her more carefully. She seemed young, yet her movements were precise and controlled. Every muscle in her body suggested training and discipline. He realized that she was not just a fighter, she was someone who had lived through countless battles, someone who knew the value of caution. "Why are you here?" she finally asked, her voice calm but edged with warning. Her sword remained partially raised, though her stance had softened. Kai hesitated. Explaining that he was merely exploring sounded too simple, almost ridiculous, but it was the truth. "I am looking for old technology," he said. "Something left behind by those who lived here before us. I mean no harm." Her eyes flicked to the horizon, then back to his glowing mark. She took a slow, deliberate breath and lowered her sword completely. Kai could see that she was still wary, but the tension in her shoulders eased slightly. The mark on his arm pulsed faintly, and he felt a warm energy spreading through his veins. It was subtle, almost comforting, but it made him aware that something larger was at work. "I have never seen this before," she said finally, her voice quieter now. "It is the sign of the chosen. Only the chosen carry this mark." Kai frowned, confused. "The chosen," he repeated. She nodded, still studying him intently. "You do not know what it means yet. But it will change everything." Kai stared at the mark, then back at her. A part of him feared the unknown, yet another part was thrilled. The promise of discovery, of adventure, pulsed in his chest. He took a cautious step forward. "Then show me," he said, his voice firm. "I want to understand." The woman's eyes softened for the first time. She lowered her sword entirely, her hand brushing the hilt almost as if saying goodbye to the tension that had held her. She had drawn her weapon to defend, but the mark had frozen her. Now, she nodded, accepting what the moment demanded. Kai had stepped into a story far larger than himself, one that would test courage, intelligence, and the very limits of humanity. And on the cliffs of Arinder, beneath a sky streaked with the last rays of the sun, their journey began. Lyra led Kai down a narrow path between jagged cliffs, moving with quiet precision. Each step was careful, but her pace was steady, showing both experience and confidence. The wind continued to whip around them, carrying fine dust and the faint metallic scent of the rocks. Kai struggled to keep up, but he was determined to understand what the glowing mark on his arm meant. "You need to be careful," Lyra said, glancing at him. Her voice was firm but not unkind. "There are creatures in these cliffs that will attack without warning. The mark on your arm will draw attention, even if you don't realize it." Kai looked down at the mark. It pulsed faintly, almost like it was alive. He had tried to ignore it before, thinking it was some residue from the planet's energy fields, but now it felt different. Warmth spread across his skin, and a faint hum echoed in his ears. "Why me?" he asked. "Why do I have this?" Lyra hesitated, then shook her head. "I do not know how it appeared. Some believe the chosen are born with it. Others think it appears when humanity is needed most. You must learn to control it. If you cannot, it could put you in danger." Kai swallowed. He had spent his life exploring, searching for forgotten technology and abandoned ruins, but he had never imagined this. A mark that identified him as chosen was more than he could comprehend. Yet, despite the fear, excitement bubbled within him. This was not just about discovery anymore. It was about destiny. The path widened, revealing a narrow canyon lined with strange crystalline formations. They reflected the dim light, creating patterns that danced across the walls. Kai's eyes were drawn to the crystals. As he stepped closer, he noticed that the glow of his mark reacted to the formations. The light on his arm intensified, as if guiding him. Lyra noticed his focus and nodded. "The ruins ahead respond to the chosen. Your mark is a key. It will unlock paths and reveal knowledge hidden for centuries. That is why I must guide you." Kai glanced at her, surprised by the trust she showed despite having just met him. "Why me? Why not someone else from your clan?" Lyra's face darkened. "Because the chosen do not belong to any one group. They appear when the universe demands balance. Your arrival was not an accident." Suddenly, a low rumble shook the canyon floor. Dust and small rocks tumbled from the walls. Kai looked around, tense. Lyra drew her sword instinctively, her movements fluid and precise. Kai noticed that despite the danger, she did not seem afraid. She had fought many battles and survived, but the look in her eyes suggested this encounter was more unusual than any she had faced before. From the shadows emerged several small, flying drones. Their metal surfaces glinted under the sunlight, and a soft hum filled the air. Lyra moved between Kai and the machines, her sword sweeping in controlled arcs. Sparks flew as the drones attacked, and she deflected them with skill born of years of training. Kai felt the mark on his arm pulse stronger. An idea formed in his mind, almost instinctively. He raised his arm toward one of the drones. A faint wave of energy spread from his mark, causing the machine to shudder and falter. It crashed to the ground with a metallic clang. Lyra's eyes widened in surprise. "You can control it," she said, her voice a mixture of awe and caution. "The mark responds to your will. This is why you are the chosen. Others may try to stop you, but the universe has given you this power for a reason." Kai nodded, feeling a mix of fear and exhilaration. He had always relied on tools and knowledge to survive, but now he carried something far greater. The mark was not just a symbol. It was a guide, a weapon, and a key all at once. As the drones lay scattered on the canyon floor, Lyra turned to Kai. "We must continue. The ruins are near. There, you will learn what your mark truly means. But you must be ready. Many will come seeking it, and not all will have good intentions." Kai took a deep breath, adjusting his pack and steadying himself. The glow of the mark was warm against his skin, and he felt a strange sense of calm despite the danger. Together, he and Lyra pressed onward, deeper into the canyon. Each step brought them closer to the unknown, but Kai was determined. He would uncover the truth behind the mark, and he would not falter. The ruins awaited, and with them, a destiny that would test the courage, intelligence, and strength of humanity itself. Kai and Lyra moved carefully through the canyon, the wind whipping dust against their faces. The ruins of the ancient civilization grew closer, their jagged outlines cutting sharp lines against the sky. Strange symbols were etched into the rocks, glowing faintly as if recognizing Kai's presence. Every pulse of light from the mark on his arm seemed to synchronize with the rhythm of the symbols, guiding him forward. Lyra's gaze remained sharp, scanning the terrain ahead. "These ruins are not like ordinary structures," she said quietly. "They were built by a civilization that understood energy in ways humans are only beginning to learn. Many traps are set to protect them, and some can be deadly." Kai felt a shiver run down his spine. He had encountered dangers before on his expeditions, but this felt different. It was as if the planet itself was watching him, testing him. He glanced at Lyra, who walked with a calm confidence that reassured him, yet her grip on the sword was steady and alert. "Why do you need me here?" Kai asked. "If the ruins are dangerous, shouldn't you explore them yourself?" Lyra shook her head. "No one without the mark can access the deeper chambers. Your mark is the key. I can guide and protect you, but only you can activate what lies ahead. That is why your presence is vital." As they approached the first of the ancient stone gates, a low hum filled the air. The wind shifted, and Kai noticed faint footprints in the dust, signs that they were not alone. His eyes scanned the horizon, and sure enough, small shapes moved quickly across the rocks. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Scouts," she whispered. "They are watching us. Whoever seeks the mark will not hesitate to strike." Before Kai could respond, several small flying drones appeared, skimming just above the ground. They had metallic bodies with sharp edges, their sensors glowing as they scanned the area. Lyra stepped forward, positioning herself between Kai and the machines. Her sword gleamed in the sunlight as she prepared to defend. Kai felt a surge of energy from the mark. It pulsed strongly, as if warning him of the danger. He instinctively raised his arm, focusing on the drones. A wave of energy radiated outward, causing one of the machines to falter and crash into a rock. Lyra's eyes widened. "You are learning quickly," she said. "The mark responds to intent and willpower. You must focus, or it can backfire." Kai nodded, concentrating on the next drone. A flicker of energy shot from his arm, disrupting its circuits and sending it spinning harmlessly into the canyon wall. The remaining drones hovered briefly before retreating, their scanners unable to penetrate the mark's energy. Lyra exhaled, lowering her sword slightly. "Good," she said. "That will hold them off for now, but more will come. You must be prepared. Whoever controls the mark could change the balance of power across human colonies. That is why it is dangerous and why it is protected." Kai's mind raced. The mark was not just a symbol of power, it was a target. And now he understood that his journey was not just about discovery. It was about survival and responsibility. They continued deeper into the canyon, the ruins looming larger with every step. Strange energy currents ran through the rocks, brushing against Kai's skin. The mark pulsed in response, guiding him toward a massive stone archway carved with intricate designs. Lyra motioned for him to stop. "This is the first threshold," she explained. "Only the chosen can pass. Others will be repelled or worse. You must step forward and trust the mark to guide you. I will be here to protect you, but you must take the lead." Kai took a deep breath and stepped closer to the archway. The symbols along its edges glowed brighter, responding to the mark on his arm. A sense of calm spread through him, washing away the fear and uncertainty. The hum of energy was strong, almost musical, as if welcoming him. As he moved beneath the arch, the ground beneath his feet trembled slightly. The wind picked up, carrying a faint whisper that seemed almost like a warning. Lyra stayed close, her eyes scanning the shadows, ready to act. Kai felt the energy of the ruins flow into him, the mark pulsing faster, stronger. He realized that the ruins were alive, responding to him, and that the mark was not just a symbol. It was a bridge, connecting him to knowledge, power, and responsibility that humans had not yet fully understood. The warning of danger was clear, but so was the promise. Kai had taken the first step into a larger world, and the journey would demand courage, intelligence, and trust. The ruins waited, and so did the secrets that could change the fate of humanity. Kai stepped cautiously beneath the towering stone archway. The air inside the ruins felt heavier, charged with energy that made his skin tingle. Strange symbols lined the walls, glowing faintly in rhythm with the mark on his arm. It was as if the ruins themselves recognized him and responded to his presence. Lyra followed closely, her eyes sharp and alert, ready for any danger that might appear. "This place is older than any human settlement," Lyra explained, her voice low so as not to disturb the energy around them. "The builders understood energy in ways we cannot fully grasp. Some say they could bend reality to their will. Many of their creations remain protected, waiting for the chosen to activate them." Kai glanced at her, curiosity burning in his eyes. "How do they protect it?" he asked. Lyra pointed to a narrow corridor ahead. "Traps, guardians, and puzzles. Those who are not chosen cannot pass. Most have failed." They entered the corridor, the glow from Kai's mark illuminating their path. The walls were covered in intricate carvings depicting humans and alien beings working together, creating machines, and harnessing energy. The images seemed almost alive, their movements fluid as if replaying a story from centuries ago. Suddenly, a soft hum filled the corridor, growing louder with each step. Kai felt the mark on his arm pulse more rapidly, as if reacting to the energy. He slowed his pace, focusing on the path ahead. Lyra noticed his caution. "Pay attention," she said. "The ruins respond to intention. Fear or hesitation can trigger defenses." As they reached a large chamber, the floor beneath them began to shift. Panels slid open, revealing mechanical devices with sharp edges and glowing sensors. Automated guardians activated, their metal bodies rising from hidden compartments. The machines moved with precision, designed to test anyone who entered. Lyra stepped forward, her sword ready. She moved with grace, deflecting the first attacks. Sparks flew as her blade struck metal, but the Guardians were relentless. Kai felt the mark pulsing stronger, warmth spreading through his arm. He focused, imagining the energy flowing outward. A wave of force emanated from him, pushing one of the machines backward. The Guardians faltered, but more appeared, surrounding them from all sides. Kai realized he could not rely on physical strength alone. The mark seemed to respond to his thoughts, his intent. Concentrating, he extended his hands toward the nearest Guardian. Energy radiated from his mark, causing the machine to shudder and then collapse. Lyra's eyes widened in surprise and relief. "You are stronger than I expected," she said, her voice filled with awe. "The mark is responding to your will. Use it wisely." Kai nodded, feeling a mixture of fear and exhilaration. He had always relied on his wits and tools, but now he had something more powerful, something connected to the very energy of the ruins. Together, they moved deeper into the chamber, the Guardians falling back as the mark pulsed with each step. At the far end of the room, a massive stone door stood covered in alien symbols. The glow of Kai's mark intensified as they approached, almost as if the door was recognizing him. Lyra stepped beside him. "This is it," she said. "The chamber beyond holds knowledge and power that could help humanity. Only the chosen can unlock it. Be ready. The energy here is unlike anything you have faced before." Kai reached out, placing his hand on the door. The symbols flared brightly, and the ground beneath him vibrated. He felt a connection, as if the ruins were speaking to him through the mark. A surge of energy ran through his body, filling him with warmth and clarity. The door slowly began to open, revealing a room filled with ancient devices, glowing energy conduits, and holographic projections. Images of humans and alien civilizations working together floated in the air. Kai realized that this place held the knowledge to defend humanity against threats beyond imagination. Lyra stepped forward, her eyes scanning the room with both reverence and caution. "We must explore carefully," she said. "The energy here is powerful. One wrong move, and it could be dangerous." Kai felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The mark on his arm pulsed gently, almost as if reassuring him. He had taken the first steps into a world of discovery, power, and danger. The ruins held answers, but also tests. Only by understanding and mastering the mark could he unlock their full potential. Together, Kai and Lyra stepped into the chamber, ready to face the challenges and revelations that awaited. The ruins had opened to them, and the journey into humanity's hidden strength had truly begun. Kai and Lyra stepped cautiously into the glowing chamber, their eyes scanning the array of ancient devices and holographic projections. The air hummed with energy, and the symbols on the walls pulsed gently in response to Kai's mark. It felt like the room was alive, watching him, testing him, and waiting for him to prove himself. "Stay close," Lyra whispered. "The ruins are not the only danger. Others may know the mark exists, and they will come for it." Kai nodded, his heart racing. He had faced the drones before, but now the stakes felt higher. The room seemed almost sacred, and yet he could feel the undercurrent of threat. Every pulse of the mark reminded him that his presence here was significant. Suddenly, the chamber doors slid open, and several figures stepped in. Kai's eyes widened as he recognized Lyra's clan members. Their faces were hard, and their eyes reflected distrust and suspicion. They wore armor similar to Lyra's, but their swords were drawn and aimed directly at Kai. "Step away from him, Lyra," one of them commanded, his voice sharp. "This is a test. The mark may be a trap set by the alien race. We cannot allow him to continue." Lyra's expression tightened. She glanced at Kai, then back at her clan. "He is the chosen," she said firmly. "The mark is real, and he has proven it already. He is not a threat." The clan member sneered. "We cannot take chances. If the chosen is a trap, all of humanity could be at risk. Surrender him now, or we will force you." Kai's chest tightened. He had hoped that Lyra's guidance would protect him, but now he faced hostility from the very people who were supposed to be allies. The mark on his arm pulsed more strongly, almost as if urging him to act. He felt a surge of energy and instinctively raised his hands. Lyra stepped forward, positioning herself between Kai and the approaching clan members. Her sword gleamed in the chamber's light. "You will not harm him," she said, her voice cold and unwavering. The tension was thick, and the chamber seemed to hold its breath. Then, one of the clan members lunged forward, aiming to strike. Kai reacted without thinking, focusing the energy of the mark. A wave of force radiated outward, stopping the attacker in his tracks and causing him to stumble backward. The others paused, startled by the display. "This is proof," Lyra said, her eyes meeting those of her clan. "The mark responds only to the chosen. If you doubt him, you risk destroying what we are meant to protect." Kai's pulse raced as he realized the mark's power was growing stronger. The chamber responded, the symbols on the walls glowing brighter, illuminating the faces of the clan members. A soft vibration ran through the floor, as if the ruins themselves were acknowledging Kai's rightful place. Slowly, some of the clan members lowered their weapons, though suspicion lingered in their eyes. One of the elders, an older woman with streaks of gray in her hair, stepped forward. She studied Kai carefully, her gaze piercing. "Perhaps the stories are true," she said quietly. "The chosen appears when the universe demands it. This young man may be the one foretold." Kai felt a mix of relief and unease. The clan's hesitation showed that trust would not come easily, even with proof. He realized that his journey was not only about mastering the mark but also about earning the confidence of those who guarded the knowledge of the ruins. Lyra turned to Kai, her expression softening. "You have done well," she said. "The mark is strong in you, but you must learn control and patience. The challenges ahead will not be simple. Betrayal, fear, and doubt will test us all. Are you ready?" Kai met her gaze, feeling the weight of responsibility. "I am ready," he said, his voice steady. "I will do whatever it takes to understand the mark and protect humanity." The elder nodded. "Then step forward, chosen. The ruins will guide you, but only if you prove yourself worthy. Remember, the energy here is not only a tool but also a test. Those who fail may never leave." Kai felt the mark pulse again, a steady and calming rhythm. It was as if the ruins were reassuring him that he was on the right path. He looked at Lyra, who gave a small nod of encouragement. Together, they prepared to move deeper into the chamber, knowing that the trials ahead would test courage, intelligence, and the strength of humanity itself. The ruins had revealed both their power and their dangers. Kai understood that every choice, every action, would shape not only his destiny but the future of those he swore to protect. The journey into the heart of the ancient civilization had only just begun. Kai stepped deeper into the ancient chamber, the glow from the symbols on the walls intensifying with every step. The air vibrated with energy, and he could feel the mark on his arm pulsing in rhythm with the ruins. Lyra followed close behind, her eyes scanning every shadow and corner. The elders of her clan had stepped back, allowing Kai to lead the way, but their cautious gazes never left him. "This chamber is unique," Lyra said softly. "It is the heart of the ruins. Here, the knowledge and power of the ancient civilization were stored. Only the chosen can access it fully." Kai's fingers brushed over the edge of a glowing pedestal in the center of the room. Holographic images erupted into the air, showing humans and alien beings working together in harmony. Cities rose with towering structures, powered by energy that Kai had never seen before. The aliens in the images were not hostile, they seemed to guide humanity, teaching them to harness energy for growth and protection. As he focused on the projections, the mark on his arm pulsed strongly, sending a warmth through his body. A soft voice, almost like a whisper in his mind, spoke to him. "The chosen awakens. The future depends on your understanding. Protect humanity. Unite those who will fight for life." Kai blinked, overwhelmed by the clarity of the vision. The mark was not only a symbol, it was a guide. It showed him the potential of humanity, the strength that could rise from unity, intelligence, and courage. He realized that the chosen were not just warriors, they were catalysts, meant to inspire and protect civilizations from threats beyond their understanding. Lyra stepped forward, her expression both awe and concern. "Do you understand now?" she asked. "The mark is more than power. It is responsibility. Whoever controls it can lead humanity, but the weight is heavy. The aliens who left these ruins wanted to ensure that only those worthy could wield this knowledge." Kai nodded slowly. "I see it," he said. "The mark connects us to something greater. It is not just about me. It is about all of humanity." Suddenly, the chamber vibrated more strongly, and the holographic images shifted, showing a darker scene. Alien ships appeared above human colonies, their weapons glowing as they prepared to strike. Kai felt a chill run through him. This was the threat that the mark had been warning him about. The energy from the ruins pulsed faster, almost urging him to act. Lyra's voice was firm. "That is why you must learn control. If you hesitate or fail, these threats will reach our colonies. The mark has chosen you to prevent this. We must be ready." Kai took a deep breath, closing his eyes to focus. The mark's pulse was steady in his veins, guiding his thoughts. He felt the energy of the ruins merging with his own determination. Knowledge of ancient technology and strategies filled his mind, showing him ways to defend humanity that were once thought impossible. He opened his eyes and looked at Lyra. "I understand now. The mark is a bridge between what humans can do and what we must become. We are stronger than we know, and we can protect ourselves, but only if we act together." Lyra nodded, her sword still at the ready but her stance relaxed. "Then we must prepare. Those who seek the mark will not wait. The alien threat will come, and the first strike may be upon us sooner than we think. But with your mark, we have a chance to unite and defend our people." Kai felt a surge of determination. The mark on his arm was not just a glow of energy, it was a promise, a guide, and a challenge. He had been chosen for this moment, for this responsibility. He would not fail. Humanity's future depended on courage, intelligence, and unity, and the mark had shown him the path. The chamber pulsed with light, echoing the rhythm of the mark. Kai and Lyra stood side by side, ready to face what was coming. The revelations of the ruins had changed him. He was no longer just an explorer, he was a chosen, a beacon of hope for humanity in the galaxy. As they prepared to leave the chamber, Kai glanced at the glowing mark on his arm. Its light was steady and calm, a reminder of the power and responsibility he now carried. Together with Lyra, he would face the challenges ahead. Humanity's strength, resilience, and ingenuity would be tested, and the chosen would lead the way. The future awaited, and Kai was ready to embrace it. Kai and Lyra emerged from the heart of the ruins, the energy from the chamber still pulsing through Kai's veins. The sky above Arinder was darkening, streaked with clouds charged by the planet's storms. In the distance, Kai could see shapes moving alien ships, their engines glowing as they descended toward the human settlement. The threat the ruins had warned about had arrived. Lyra's eyes narrowed as she drew her sword. "We don't have much time," she said. "We must reach the settlement and prepare defenses. The chosen leads, and we follow." Kai felt the mark on his arm pulse with steady warmth. It was as if the ruins themselves were guiding him, providing knowledge, strategy, and courage. He focused, visualizing the settlement and the people he had sworn to protect. Energy radiated from the mark, spreading outward and interacting with the environment, creating a subtle shield around them as they ran. When they reached the outskirts of the settlement, the humans were already mobilizing. Soldiers, engineers, and volunteers moved with urgency, preparing barriers and weaponry. Yet, fear was visible in their eyes. The alien ships were unlike anything they had faced before, larger and more advanced than their defenses could easily handle. Kai took a deep breath, stepping forward. "Listen to me," he called. His voice carried across the square, clear and commanding. "We are not weak. We are humans, and we have survived countless dangers. The mark is a guide, and it shows that we can defend ourselves. Together, we can stand against them and protect our home." The crowd paused, listening. The warmth of the mark pulsed stronger, and a wave of calm spread through the humans. Fear melted into determination, and their movements became sharper, more confident. Kai realized that the mark was not only a weapon, it was a symbol of hope. The alien ships began their descent, firing energy beams that struck the settlement's defenses. Explosions erupted, and debris flew through the air. Lyra moved alongside Kai, deflecting attacks from small drones that had detached from the larger ships. She fought with precision and skill, protecting civilians and allowing engineers to repair damaged systems. Kai focused on the mark. Energy surged through him, radiating outward in waves. It disrupted the alien ship's sensors, causing their attacks to misfire. The settlement's defenses, now guided by Kai's connection to the mark, struck back with greater accuracy. Explosions rocked the air as the first wave of ships was repelled. The humans rallied, inspired by Kai's presence and the power of the mark. Soldiers fought with courage, engineers operated advanced weapons with precision, and civilians moved safely to shelters. The alien threat was powerful, but humanity's determination, intelligence, and teamwork were stronger. Kai noticed a massive ship attempting to target the heart of the settlement. He extended his arm, channeling the full energy of the mark. A pulse of light shot from him, connecting with the ship. Its systems faltered, and it wobbled in the sky before crashing to the ground, scattering the remaining attackers. Lyra turned to Kai, a smile breaking through the tension. "You did it," she said, her voice filled with relief. "The mark guided you, but it was your courage and will that made the difference." Kai looked around. The settlement had suffered damage, but the people were alive, ready to rebuild and defend themselves again. The alien threat had been defeated not by sheer force alone, but by strategy, unity, and the courage of humans standing together. The glow of the mark on his arm softened, a steady reminder of what he had achieved and what he was chosen to protect. Kai realized that this was only the beginning. The galaxy held other dangers, but humanity had proven that it could rise to meet them. As the sun rose over Arinder, painting the sky in shades of gold and crimson, Kai and Lyra stood together at the settlement's edge. The mark on his arm pulsed gently, a quiet promise of guidance and hope. Humanity had faced a great challenge and survived. Kai turned to Lyra, his voice calm but determined. The mark has shown us what we can do. We will be ready for the next challenge, no matter what comes. Lyra nodded, her sword at rest but ready if needed. And we will face it together. Humanity is stronger than any threat, and we will prove it again and again. The settlement stirred with renewed life. Children laughed, engineers worked, and soldiers prepared for whatever lay ahead. Humanity's resilience had been tested, and it had emerged victorious. Kai looked down at his glowing mark, feeling its energy steady and reassuring. It was not just a symbol of power, it was a promise. A promise that humans could endure, adapt, and overcome. The galaxy was vast, and the threats were many, but with courage, unity, and determination, humanity would continue to thrive. The chosen had risen, and the future belonged to those who dared to fight for it. Kai and Lyra stood side by side, ready to face whatever came next, knowing that humanity's strength would always shine brightest in the darkest of times.